우드는 여전히 마음이 맑아지지 않았어요. 검계에 대한 이야기도 S사에 대한 이야기도 여전히 미루고 있을 뿐이죠. 언제쯤 그 병세가 나아질지는 모르겠지만 마음을 정하실 때까진 곁에 남아 보필해야죠. 그 뒤에는 모르겠지만.
Interesting. Greetings and salutations, everyone. I'm Ekamek. This is Limbus Company. We have new releases. I will throw one Deca Extraction ticket here. Just one. No more. No, I don't believe you. I don't believe you'd give me something cool on the first pull.
필요했던 나에게 잘못과 먹을 것을 줬어. 평생 꿈도 못 꿔봤을 굉장한 검술도 가르쳐 주셨지. 알아. 안다고. 근데 난 언제까지 이렇게 살아야 하는 거냐?
The text is scrolling off. Is it supposed to do that? Anyway, okay, we got our 300 ideality. We've actually broken 8,000 on the Starlight for once. That's cool. So, we are not going to pull and see if we can get an extra one. We're just going to look at Rodion. So, Colpi di Taglio. At 6 plus poise, gain final power plus 1. Coin power plus 1 for every burn and tremor on target, to a maximum of 2. Clash Wing. Lose number of remaining coins I have precognition on self. Deal 5% damage for every stack lost. Deal burn and tremor. Add burn count and tremor count. She has a count positive for skill 1. Hallelujah. Says the Inoi di Cogniglia. Do I look like I... Well, I suppose I can't say do I look like I would be able to say this, but... This isn't my language. I can't say it. I'm sorry. She has crossed out the Soto Familiar. House of Spiders and Thumb. This skill does not trigger defense skills, and external effects cannot trigger the skill to be reused. 6 plus poise, gain final power. Base power plus 1 for every burn plus tremor on target. Inflict burn count, inflict tremor count, trigger a tremor burst, and then reduce by 1. It's 2 tremor count because they expect it to be tremor scorch. It honestly doesn't look like Rodion. It honestly looks like Valencia. I'll gladly blast a hole through ya. If this unit does not have acceleration round, activate as Centenara de Curvo. 10 acceleration rounds, gotcha. And 6 plus poise, final power plus 1. Coin power plus 1 for every burn and tremor on target. Eye of Precognition stacks on self, raises the number of remaining lose number of remaining coins. Eye of Precognition. Spend 2 acceleration rounds. Inflict burn and tremor and tremor count. Trigger a tremor burst. So not quite count positive there. If this unit is an Eye of Precognition, overheat. Gain final power. Convert all coins to unbreakables. Gain 4 poise count. Coin power plus 1 for every burn and tremor on target. Lose number of remaining coins. Eye of Precognition stack on self. Gain 5 poise, inflict 2 burn, inflict tremor and tremor count, trigger amplitude conversion to tremor scorch, trigger a tremor burst, reduce target's tremor count by 1. If target has 10 plus tremor, trigger a tremor burst, then reduce by tremor count by 1. Interesting. Alright, and her skill 3, says the Anatora de Elefante. 6 plus poise, gain final power, coin power plus 1 for every burn and tremor on target. Lose up to 10 precognition stacks on self once per turn. Spend an acceleration round to inflict burn and tremor. Spend acceleration round to inflict burn count and tremor count. Spend acceleration round, convert the tremor into amplitude conversion. It's not entanglement, and entanglement is kind of bad anyway, into tremor scorch. Trigger a tremor burst, reduce target's tremor count by 1, activate the above effect once more for every acceleration round spent by the skill. 1, 2, 3. Ooh, she goes count negative here. Oh, but to a maximum of 2 times, so it's at worst 3 tremor count lost. Disposal. If target has 50 or less HP, deal 50% damage. When attacking a game target, take 15% more damage from base skills, coin power plus 1. Ooh, 5 plus 3. So it's rolling a 20 bare minimum, but if she has acceleration rounds or... wonder why I should have acceleration rounds. We'll get to that when we get to our passives. Final power plus 1 for every burn and tremor on the target. Upon killing the game target, add a disposal to the list of skills for the next upcoming turn. Killing game target with the added disposal. Oh, so the unique added disposal doesn't get to recycle itself. Gotcha. On kill, reload once per turn. Lose all currently owned ammo, then reload it back to full. Inflict burn, tremor, burn count, tremor count, trigger an amplitude conversion, spend up to 5 acceleration rounds, deal 10% damage for every acceleration round that will be spent. Trigger tremor burst, reduce target's tremor count by 1, and activate the above effect once more for every acceleration round spent, so 4 tremor bursts. And she might very well have all 4 tremor bursts on already. It feels unfair that she doesn't get to hang on to disposal. Defense. Fuck off. Final power plus 1 for every burn and tremor on target. Lose 4 Eye of Precognition. If we have less than 5 acceleration rounds, reload those acceleration rounds to 5. At the end of the turn. Inflict a burn and a tremor. Burn and tremor. Precognition. Wow, that's a really dirty number to give her. Upon successfully evading all coins on a skill, use Notoria Decognilio as an unopposed attack against the attacker. Coin power plus 1 for every 5 precognition stacks on self. Base power plus 1 for every stacks past 10. To a maximum of 4. Okay, that's way more interesting. Coin power plus 1 to maximum of 4, so she rolls a 14. Base power plus 1 for every excess Eye of Precognition past 10 to a maximum of 4. So that's 7. 7 plus 11, she is actually rolling really high. So on her first turn, that does actually help out. Can lose up to 10 stacks per turn. Gain 3 poise count once per turn. Gain 2 poise 2 times per turn. Heal 3 SP 2 times per turn. Lose 2 Eye of Precognition on self. Okay. Sanity. Increase after winning a clash based on clash count. 10 after defeating an enemy regardless of level. This is the cool stuff. We don't have to worry about over-leveling her. If the level of a defeated ally is higher than or equal to the units, decrease based on the level difference. Okay, upon entering the encounter for the first time, gain 30 Eye of Precognition. At 0 Eye of Precognition, convert it to Eye of Precognition Overheat. Max of 30. Offense level plus 3, defense level minus 3. Turn start, gain 10 stacks. So 3 turns of Overheat, and she gets to have her high speed back again. When this unit has Eye of Precognition, activate the following effects. Gain Accelerating Future with each clash. Base attack skills deal extra damage for every stack. Base skill Clash Power plus 1 for every 2 stacks. At 5 stacks, gain Coin Power. So if something forces her to clash that many times, she will have better odds of winning the clash. That said, if she's clashing that many times, her skills don't have that many coins on them. So it might end up being quite the narrow encounter. When attacked by an unopposed attack, unbreakable coin attack, or losing a clash against an attack skill, activate Precognition once per turn. Yeah, screw you two. Losing Eye of Precognition. Lose 1 Eye of Precognition with each clash. When activating precognition, lose 3 Eye of Precognition. So she'll lose 5 if she has to trigger that. When attacked by an... Okay, when this unit activates precognition via passive effect due to losing a clash, lose 5. Huh. So she's not going to be kicking into overheat that quickly. At the end of this turn, the Eye of Precognition is converted into Precognition Overheat. Activate the following effects. Reload. Once per encounter. Wow. At the start of turn, if this unit has no disposal, replace a base skill with disposal. Prioritize the skill on the leftmost slot, top row. That could be very unfair if that was about to be her skill 3. But I suppose it's the better skill 3. She can still keep her acceleration rounds at 5, but it's just that she's going to be spending a lot of time doing her clashable counter there. Alright. This unit gains Shin Disgrace next turn. If she drops to 0 stacks, staggered, or if Heathcliff is defeated. In the turn, if the said defeated unit is already defeated when the unit substitutes in, gain Shin Disgrace immediately. Turn end. When staggered due to damage for the first time, recover from stagger, excluding 4 staggers. Gain poison count for every acceleration round spent. When flipping a coin that spends acceleration round, does not cancel the acceleration round. I hate this part. I will fight to the end on her being burn and tremor because they brought it up. Hey, she doesn't count as her poise identity. Literally, if you hadn't made that passive, then people wouldn't care. But because you did and you brought attention to it, it split everyone on whether this is actually perfectly fine because it overshadows Ryoshu, or the worst thing ever because you're not letting us have cool identities. Turn start. If this unit has disposal, inflict game target on the enemy that this unit attacked last in the previous turn. In focused counters, the pass count for this purpose. Wait, I get it. It's on the top row so that she can spend a turn using her defense skill. She can use her defense skill to reload so she can hit at full power. Gotcha. On the enemy that this unit attacked last in the previous turn. In this encounter, parts count for this purpose. If there are no targets that satisfy the condition, inflict it on the enemy that has the lowest HP. If this unit is defeated at encounter start, or if this unit is defeated during the encounter, Ryoshu gains Entanglement, Defense Skill Coin Power +1, and increased damage and base attack damage against targets with shield. La Spada de Palermo. If this unit has acceleration rounds, skill 3 gains coin power and deals extra damage. Base skills deal extra damage for all the burn on the main target. If the target has shield, base skills deal 3% damage instead to a maximum of 45%. Weaklings, not worth shit. One ally with the fastest speed when triggering a tremor burst on the enemy gain offense level up next turn. If the said ally is a thumb, gain haste as well once per turn. Of course, we don't need to look at that for Heathcliff, because we have our own Heathcliff. We'll talk about this later. House of Spiders Thumb Apprentice. So his skill 1 is 3+3, inflict burn and tremor. Colpi Sotani, inflict burn count, inflict tremor count. Measuring blade reach. Clashable counter, deal extra damage for every duel escalates on the target. Inflict burn and tremor. I will protect. Clashable guard, assist defense, exclusive skill, unbreakable coin. At base skill end against an enemy. If defeated while having the duel escalates, gain a maturing textbook. If the target isn't defeated, inflict duel escalates on the main target. If there was a clash against the main target using the base skill, inflict 2 instead. Okay, so if he hits someone in a one-sided strike, then it's 1 stack. If he actually clashes with them, then it's 2, but it has to be base skills. That's very important. That clash start against a target that has dual escalates. Heal SP to the dual escalate stack on the target. And he is blunt weak. I could actually see him making it into my Wrath team. If House of Spiders Thumb Nurse Father Rodion is on the field, activate the following. Does not activate in turns when this unit is panicked or staggered. When she has Eye of Precognition, hitting an enemy with a base skill, follow up as an unopposed attack once per turn. Combat start. When she's in Eye of Precognition Overheat, then targeted by an enemy's unopposed skill, gain an assist defense that only activates for Thumb Nurse Father Rodion. Honestly, I kind of wish that it wasn't on a House of Spiders team because that sounds like it could be really cool. Enemies unopposed skill. So he's not going to try and get in the way of Fell Bullet. If this unit is defeated at encounter start, or if this unit is defeated during the encounter, Blade of the House of Spiders Ryoshu gains the following effects. Gain an Entanglement. On Clash Win, inflict 2 tremor, trigger a tremor burst, then reduce target's tremor count by 1, twice per turn. But she's not going to be sticking any tremor countdown, so it's going to vanish the moment it lands. Sanity. Increase after winning a clash based on the clash count. Increase by 10 after defeating an enemy higher or equal level. Increase by 5 after an ally kills an enemy who's higher or equal level. If the level of the defeated ally is higher or equal than this unit's, defense decrease based on the level difference. Alright, so let's see what he upties to. Speed range goes from 3 to 5 to 3 to 6. Gain an on-use conditional for his skill 1. Gain an on-use conditional for his skill 2. Actually, I didn't look at these numbers, did I? 4 plus 3, so that's 9, 13. The conditional makes this 11, and it makes this 16. Inflict 2 burn and 2 tremor count. If this unit has maturing textbook, or the target is the dual escalates, trigger a tremor burst. Reduce target's tremor count by 1. Can gain up to 2 stacks per turn. Max stack 3? That's gross. But I suppose he's going to be getting, what, 25% damage up? Yeah. Okay, this is where he gets his bonuses from having maturing textbook and opposition stuff. Gotcha. So, gain the following effects based on maturing textbook plus dual escalates. Max stack 5 can gain up to 3 stacks per turn. Oh, I get it. Almost always this is 2 stacks, but this one is 3 stacks because there's always the chance that he's going to get the follow-up attack from Rodion. And they figured, yeah, that one should actually count. So he I think? Actually, wait. 2 points for a clash against the target, and then following up with Rodion. Yeah, I think that's it. At 1 stack, gain clash power up. 2 stacks, base skills gain base power. 3 stacks, on hit using a base skill inflicts a severed tendon. Base power -1 is actually ridiculous. 4 stacks, base skills gain final power. Ooh, base power final power. Base skills deal 15% more damage. Take less damage for every maturing textbook and dual escalates or the enemy attacking this unit. Alright, speed range goes from 3 to 6 to 4 to 7. Gain his skill 3. Il Caricature. Sure, whatever. Before use, if the target has 5 to the duel escalates, activate Sezionator de Curvo instead, once per turn. If target has 6 plus burn plus tremor, coin power plus 1, gain following effects based on duel escalate stacks. Inflict extra tremor potency, inflict extra tremor count, inflict extra burn potency, inflict extra burn count. If they don't have a plus 5 because that replaces the skill. If this unit has maturing textbook or the target has 3 plus dual escalates, convert all coins to unbreakables. Inflict 2 burn count, 2 burn, 2 burn count. Inflict 2 tremor count. Deal 10% damage for every maturing textbook on self. Trigger amplitude conversion into tremor scorch. Trigger tremor burst, then reduce tremor count by 1. You sure you've got enough effects on this skill 3? If this unit has a maturing textbook or dual escalates, trigger tremor burst, then reduce tremor count by 1. And here's his advanced skill 3. Gain maturing textbook attack weight to a maximum of 2. Coin power plus 1 for every burn and tremor on the main target. Okay, so it kicks in just from having maturing textbook, gotcha. Coin power plus 1 for every burn and tremor on the main target. When attacking just one target, deal 15% more damage. For Fosuchus encounters, 1 part. Deal 15% damage for every excess attack weight beyond the actual number of targets. Ooh. So this skill can have just a 15% damage bonus when he's using it, but I guess the attack weight will kick in and remove that 15% damage increase, but it can be hitting at 45% damage. Attack end, consume all dual escalates on the main target. Gain a maturing textbook. If the main target is defeated, gain 2 instead. Gotcha. So if he does make it up to that 5 stacks on a target and uses skill 3, he is going to get at least 1 textbook. Unbreakable coin, inflict 3 burn count. They don't have any of the bonuses that you would have gotten from this one, because it's just baked into the attack itself. Inflict 3 tremor count. Inflict use an unbreakable coin. Coin start, gain coin power for every maturing textbook to a maximum of 3. Trigger amplitude conversion into tremor scorch. Tremor burst twice, reduce tremor count by twice. La Spada de Palano gets a coin power boost. Colpi Sotano gains a coin power boost. Support passive unlocked. In one-on-one duels. One ally with the fastest speed will clash when using base attack skills. Inflict a burn count on the target once per turn. Prioritizing thumb identities. If the target is a thumb, inflict burn count and tremor count instead. If there is only one enemy on the field, inflict 1 more burn count and tremor count. So wait, if you had a thumb identity, this might actually be really good for Capo Mersault on the front line. But anyway, Uptie.
1대1 결투에선 팔레르모를 이긴 제가 유리합니다.
Il Kakiator. Okay, so Uptie story time. I actually ran the other in Sinclair mission just for fun the other day, so that's why that's the background. She leans forward, going for the kill. I see it then, in balance. Split-second opening. Narrow, but an opportunity nonetheless. It's the only pathway to the impossible future I had imagined tens of thousands of times in my mind. The future I put off time and again, now merely milliseconds away, waiting for me to seize it. Maybe I can end it now. Maybe this is my chance. That wandering thought cuts deeply through my psyche. As if it possessed by some ghost, I raised my sword arm. You! A blink. Before I knew it, the sword in my hand had run through the master's art. It wasn't as if I had a momentary burst of determination, no. My body moved on its own, like a creature flinching and curling up moments before a brutal thrashing. Only this time, it took the shape of a sword driven outward. You little Heathcliff, you dare betray me after everything? Her eyes widened, almost bulging out of their sockets with shock and resentment. I look on quietly, trying to capture every last detail, as Master screams what will be her last words. I thought maybe I would feel the urge to pour out my anger on her, laying into her all the resentment I held in my heart, but I find neither there. And like all those times I imagined it, there is no catharsis, no laughter, not even the sudden surge of tears welling at the corners of my eyes. Nothing. Nothing but silence. All that noise in my head gone. So quiet up there, even my heartbeat feels sedate. Yeah, well, not a bad hell to throw yourselves into. Like an ungrateful hound, I sank my fingers into the jugular of the woman who raised me. But this didn't feel like something I'd come to regret down the line. As to why that might be, I suppose I must retrace this tale from the very beginning, starting with Yoshihide, the woman who has brought this hellish scene to the House of Spiders. The nurse fathers hardly ever got along amongst themselves. It did not take long for me to learn as much after my arrival at the House of Spiders. Master spent most days hurling profanities at the other nurse fathers, and they would always return the favour by shooting demeaning looks at her as she drunkenly stumbled around. Whenever their look of contempt fell on her, and full harshly they did, she would snap at me instead, picking apart my behaviour to find the tiniest fault and slapping me across the face. I used to believe it was a punishment for my lack of propriety, but, well, it's become rather obvious now that she just needed a punch bag to vent her frustrations on. Though the nurse fathers were far from fond of each other, there was one exception. The nurse father and the Pinky. They were all careful around her, that woman whose face was always shrouded under a veil. The middle nurse father, whenever she left the house for whatever reason, would never forget to bring fruits or health supplements for the Pinky nurse father. And the index nurse father prepared and brought her delicious food every meal, or sometimes sat by the shut door of her room to read her a book. Even the ring nurse father would sometimes hesitate and pace in front of the corridor before finally deciding to slip a neatly folded message under the door that he had completed. A new piece of work of art. My master, the thumb nurse father, also seemed to harbour a similar affection for the veiled woman. The difference was that she did not seem willing to go and see the Pinky nurse father herself, whether because she could not be bothered to do so, or couldn't swallow her own pride. She'd always send me instead to check in on the Pinky nurse father and deliver the news back to her. It was hardly any trouble, but I never liked doing it. It always made my skin crawl, for whatever reason. So, she has sent you here again? Sinclair, see your fellow apprentice away, if you would. I'm not in the mood to receive a guest. It will be done, master. Pray walk with this humble self of mine, Heathcliff. Master has no wish to converse with anyone today. There was always a look of pity in her eyes that gleamed from behind the veil. Pity meant for me, for Sinclair, and all of us apprentices. Why would a prisoner at the House of Spiders, forced to helplessly watch the fast approaching end of her own life, still have pity to spare for us? None of the apprentices seemed to know the answer to that question. Not even Sinclair, her own apprentice and caretaker. Okay, so that's it. Blade of Spiders Ryoshu doesn't count. She wasn't a nurse father ever. Although, I guess it was supposed to be Araya? I had long given up on that part of the mystery answered, but As it turns out, whenever Master began to ramble, she had a hard time stopping herself. It was one of those days when Master beat me until the bones of my limbs cracked and fractured. This time because I accidentally spoke too casually to Miss Don Quixote, having mistaken her to be a fellow titleless apprentice and not an officially anointed proxy at the Index. Thumb and their stupidity about rank and promise. Down in a few bottles of liquor that had activated her tongue, and she began telling another story she could not end. I braced myself expecting another long-winded recounting of the smoke war, only to be struck by something else entirely. It was about her golden ticket. You gotta think, Ticket, you hear me? She's the only reason you didn't end up another dead vagrant in that back streets. It's all 'cause what happened to Ticket after she ran away from home. Ran away from home, Master? The very same who fled the house after completing all of those tasks single-handedly? Fuck, Heathcliff, did you really have to bring that up that bitch when I'm drinking? You sure know how to make good booze taste like shit, don't ya? Apologies, Master. Bitch takes after her mummy, that's why. Yeah, come to think of it, Ticket couldn't take it either. Scampered off alone into that wide, unforgiving world out there as if that place was any kinder. See, though, the House of Spiders is kinda like a retirement home for the has-beens. We ain't nobodies, you know. This is the Fingers Casino, and they're all waiting for the jackpot to drop. You catch my drift? All 5 fingers got their eyes on this project. Someone with such aptitude just up and leaving the House of Spiders. You can imagine the kind of shit that's stirred up. The Fingers tracked her down? Yeah, the Thumb, the Index, all kinds of motherfuckers the city has to offer went snapping at her heels until she couldn't take it anymore and returned home. Coming home with a baby in her arms was a bit fucked up, but whatever, right? She wasn't dead and the project was now back on track, or so we thought. 'Cause it was too late or something, according to you saying. That's when I first learned that the Pinky motherfuckers can't use another relic once they've chosen one for themselves. And Ticket, well, she picked the Dahui Stars blade over Tiancha's stars. We were fucked beyond any chance of redemption. Whatever our bosses ended up dishing out, we had to take it. Good thing she ended up passing on that unique aptitude to that mongrel brat of hers. Huh. How accurate do you think this is to the real world? So we decided to start over from scratch with the new girl, speeding things along with a workaround. Then the new girl is the one who's currently away from the house. Yeah, Yoshihide, that bitch. What if she chooses to simply never return, Master? I'm not worried, she'll be back. 'Cause she's got something Ticket doesn't. And that's all she has ever said on that matter. She quietly downed a few more bottles before sleep took her. Something Ticket doesn't have, but Yoshihide does. It was a riddle without a clue, let alone an answer. The first threads that formed the solution came later, when I had the opportunity to face Yoshihide as her textbook. I won't lose, not to you. I've watched and heard the same things you've been taught, until they're etched into my memories. Get out of the way. I'm not wasting any more time on my inferior copy. Oi lass, let me ask you something. Yoshihide had sought asylum in an unstar enterprise called Limbus Company. I found the records of the assistance they provided her, securing an infiltration route into the House of Spiders, in-depth research projects into relics and the like. In short, it seemed at the time the company was committed to helping Yoshihide. When I'd first begun my investigation at the behest of my master, I felt as though I was uncovering the fringes of an unknown significant force gearing up to help Yoshihide strike the House of Spiders down with overwhelming might. But the more my investigation progressed, it soon became obvious that no such calamity would come to pass. Limbus Company refused to provide Yoshihide any further support beyond that, and they'd even cancelled the so-called Operation Spider Pyre. So, what is it that keeps her moving? Why are you clawing your way back home anyway? After the way they've treated you, why? Now that our plan to involve an external party had fallen through, there was no chance that Yoshihide, no matter how hard she tried, would be able to overcome the combined might of all nurse fathers and apprentices. Yoshihide had to know that. She was no fool, but she pursued the back door to the House of Spiders nonetheless, as though it had always been her plan to take on the house all by herself. Because in that hell awaits someone who is more precious to me than anything in the world. And the monsters I hate just as much. Because without severing all of those threads that bind me, I can never truly be free from there. Why don't you run away yourself? It's obvious they're treating you like an animal. I can see it on you. That's how bad it is. I could not answer Yoshihide's question, even as our duel came to an end with her shoving me to the ground. How could I, when even my own heart was foreign to me then? When I did not recognize all the times I had to decide to put an end to it, only to find a convenient excuse to dally and postpone. The first time I truly began to ponder Yoshihide's question was after the Pinky Nurse father and Sinclair had betrayed the House of Spiders. You serious about going with that lady, turning your back on us? Come on, I know your master don't beat you like mine does, but she's hardly been kind to you. Because this moment, had I allowed it to pass, would have lingered for the rest of my life as a profound regret. What? My master treated me with aversion, yes. Yet it was not for the lack of affection, as it is with your own nurse father. It is only that she has seen far too often what happens to those she cares about. Thus I pose the self-same question to you. Why do you pledge your loyalty to her still? You have already done all the duty that true proprietary demands of you. What more ought you repay? I have? Me? Let the end of your wandering be swift and conclusive. When that time comes, even the simplest causality shall appear opaque, even the path lay before you cloaked as though under a haze. My humble self shall now depart, pray do not pursue us. I've already given her all that my heart could pour out, and I've served her with utter propriety that my mind could afford. If all of that were still insufficient to fill the void in her heart, then what could? What she wanted, fame, honor, recognition, I could not give. Acknowledgement from a thing so lowly as myself would mean nothing to her. Then, if there really is no other way, I sink deeper into the well of my own mind, and at its bed find Yoshihide's parting words to me. Will Master one day come to regret her actions and change herself? No, she won't. Should I choose to leave here and now, would I find true freedom? No, I can never truly be free like that. Maybe the only way to really be free is to end it all with my own hands. Even on that day, I could not say out loud what or whom it was that I wanted to end. But whether that was my master or myself, there was a low but impulsive voice, a tight pull from the pit of my stomach telling me maybe I could finally put an end to this, whatever that looked like. So, I put a makeshift splint on my broken leg and hobbled through the back door. And that brings us to the present. First came the self-loathing, then the exhilaration of finally having gotten it over with. And now, all that was said and done, came aimlessness. What do I do now? I stand before Yoshihide and watch as she endlessly severs away at the world around her. There is no light behind her eyes. A sad end to someone who has lost the most precious thing in the world to her. A living corpse animated only by its unquenchable wrath and hatred until even that fury has lost any meaning it once had. I don't want to be here anymore. This place has a way of driving people completely mad. Suddenly, a terrible omen strikes through me. If I dally here any longer, it will mean my ruin. I hurriedly scan around me for what remains of the house. After all, the back streets make for a cold home for the poor, no matter what terrible violence I've suffered here. I ain't sure which of these will fetch me a nice coin. Guess I'll pocket them shiny bits in those expensive bottles of liquor. My heart sinks the moment I catch a glimpse of her liquor bar. A mere glance, and the floodgate of my memories cracks open with little resistance. I recall the sensation of those same glass bottles breaking into 1,000 lacerating shards against my head. And Master, downing bottle after bottle like she was throwing back water. Revulsion, too, rears its head. Reality settles around me, and I'm nothing but a disgusting traitor who acted out of impulse and run his sword through his master's art. All for a desperate struggle to end it all. Ah, I see. If I'm to be happy. I shoved everything that seemed even remotely expensive into my pack. I took Master's swords, her eye, too. I don't know if I'll pawn them off or use them myself, but they're questions for another day. Today, I make a decision for myself. Yoshihide continues to cut away at nothing and everything all at once. And there lies a cold, lifeless corpse at my feet. I'll probably find more dead bodies not so far from here. Yeah, I know what I must do. It's never been clearer than this. If I do this, it'll all go away forever. No matter what I look at, it won't come back. Freer desires, freer remorse. Feeling the tangled web of emotions that once bound me fall away, unraveling. I leave my home in silence. I was honestly expecting him to throw himself into Yoshihide's carnage simply to make it all stop. But no, he's just leaving. He's just GTFOing. Alright, so if we get this final Uptie. Coin power +1 for every 6 burn and tremor on target to a maximum of 2. It rolls in 11 by default. That'll make it a 15. Inflict 2 burn instead of 1. Coin power +1 for every 6 burn and tremor on target to a maximum of 2. So at the moment it rolls a 16, 19, 22. If target's duel escalates, inflict tremor count on clash win. Inflict 2 burn and 2 tremor count. 2 tremor and 2 tremor count. And maturing textbook or duel escalate stuff. Oh, okay, that's why it has the extra tremor count, so that this makes it tremor positive. Alright, raise the base power of his skill 3. Coin power +1 for every 6 burn and tremor on target. So, it rolls a 17 by default now. But we can make it more. 23. And then there's all these fun bonuses. This unit has maturing textbook, it convert everything to unbreakables. Inflict 3 burn, 3 tremor, 25% for all the maturing textbooks. Except we're not going to get that because on use it turns into a different skill. Tremor burst twice, then reduce tremor count twice. Raise the base power of his skill 3 2. Maximum of 3 coin power boost. Oh, good gravy. So let's count that out. 6, 12, 17. But then we can have 3 coin +3 on 4. 6, 12, 18, 24, 29. And don't forget, having dual escalates means that it will be getting some nice bonuses on it. Inflict 4 burn and 3 tremor count. 4 tremor and 3 tremor count. Gain coin power for every maturing textbook. Trigger tremor burst 3 times, then reduce tremor count by 3. But there's no bonus tremor count. Measuring blade reach. Final power +1 for every burn and tremor on target. 5 plus 4. 13 isn't bad. Could be a 15 if they have the conditional. Inflict burn twice per turn, inflict tremor twice per turn. 3 plus 10 gloom skill, so ooh. Clashable Guard. On use, heal 2 gain 2 protection, heal 5 SP for the unit defendant. Which is always going to be Nurse Father Rodion. Okay, so with all that said, I'm now going to record something different. Immediately. And no, I'm not going to pull for Rodion, don't be silly. Until next time guys, take care, I'll see you all around. Actually... Training grounds.
전시 준비는 완벽하답니다.
이 떨림.
이번 전투가 끝나면 반드시.
We'll just have a quick look at his abilities.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게. 역할대로.
Okay, but did you see how much stagger damage she just dealt to that guy?
강자를 상대할 땐 힘으로 맞서지 말고 칼끝으로 흘려보낸다. 다수를 상대할 땐 자세를 낮추고.
At base attack skill, if defeated the enemy while having duelist, so they actually have to survive one of his attacks. Got it.
이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게. 당신과 한 역할대로 해체 끝. 이제 같은 수는 안 통할 거다. 이 궤적을 보고 떠올리시게. 태어날 것.
Right, the sloth skills are too strong. We don't want to use those. For some reason, she has 19 corpus ingredients, and I don't feel like she should. So yeah, he's flashy, but yeah, okay, wrapping up the episode now. Until next time, guys, take care, I'll see you all around.
행동이었나? 아마 아니겠지. 키워준 은희도 모르고 등 뒤를 찌른 놈이 어떻게 사람이겠어. 그래도 절 원망하진 않으시겠죠. 당신은 죽어 마땅한 사람이었으니까.